Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Bambos, and you're welcome to the class today. And today we'll be going over style guides, basically a standard which applies to a particular brand, right? Like if you look at organizations like Google, look at Spotify, you know that they have lots of designers working on their products, but everyone is like, it's almost like it's just one designer working on it. This is because they have a guide, they already have standards that have been set and they have to follow those standards. So at the end of the day, everybody's work is streamlined, and yeah, the product looks like it's been created by one person because the voice of the brand has already been established and every designer follows it. So the importance of a style guide, of course, as I've mentioned, is just to ensure uniformity. So you don't want maybe if you have your file and there is somebody working on the file with you, because most times as designers we work with other people. So you don't have to kind of explain everything to everybody whenever they get to work on your file with you. Like the guide is there already, so they can always make reference to it and yeah, start working with you. So we don't want to have chaos on our files. That's why we need style guides. So I'll start talking about, let me start with colors. Yeah, colors are pretty important because, I mean, it gives life to your design, and colors are like a very important component of a brand. Like looking at Google, Google has lots of colors associated with them. It's not just like one basic color. And that makes Google interesting because, yeah, you get to see that they have lots of primary colors, and each of their products are defined by these colors. So once you see a Google product, you say, yes, this is a Google product because they have already established that that voice, that tone is already out there. So you can't ever see a Google product and miss it. So under colors, we have, let me just introduce three. That's the primary, secondary, and the grays. So the primary color is like, I won't say it's the most dominant color, but it's the color of your brand. Like just like Google, just as I've mentioned, they have like lots of it. They have their blue, their yellow, their red, their green. So the primary color is the color that represents that brand. And of course, it can always be paired with a secondary color, but a secondary color is used less. I mean, you don't have it as much as you have the primary colors. And then we have the grays. The grays are like the neutral colors. So you can see the grays when you are working with backgrounds, you're working with text, you are working with input fields. That's where you see lots of that. And there are also like other colors you can always introduce. Of course, you have colors for your error state, you have colors for success, and so many other things like links and the rest of them. Okay, so they said I should switch to light mode. All right, let me just change my preferences and my thing to light. Okay, so I guess this works. Yeah, so starting off with colors, yeah, the primary colors. So let me show you how to create like different shades for your primary colors, because when you're working, I mean, different components you're working with have different states. There is the active state, the disabled state, and you are going to need different shades of whichever color you have decided to be your primary color to represent those states. So that's why there is need for you to have different shades of your color. while working. So I'm just going to create, sorry, let me just change the background color here. So something lighter so everybody can see. And change these to something darker. Yeah, I guess this works. So for the primary color, let me just say I want to work with blue, maybe just one sort of blue as my primary color. So here I'm just going to go to the fill and change the color of the fill to like the color I want to use as my primary color. So I guess, okay, I think I like this color. So yeah, we can work with this. Before I put it in here, let me just bring it out because I have everything here in auto layout, so I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, so I'm just going to access some plugins, and I am hopeful that everybody knows how to install plugins already from the last class. But for those who don't know, this is just a refresher. So you can right click, of course, find your plugins and scroll down to the last, and you can browse plugins in community. Now, if it's a plugin you already have, you can directly search for a plugin on your laptop, of course, on Figma already, by using control and the forward slash. So this brings up a search bar, and if you know the name of your plugin, you can just search for it. So this is Tints and Shades. That's the plugin I'm going to be using. But let me go to the Figma community and just show you guys where it is so you know what exactly you're going to be using. So browse plugins in community, and here I'm going to search for tints. Sorry, tints and shades by shade. So here, of course, I already have it installed, so you can always click on install, and yeah, you have it. So since so sorry, just give me a moment. So yeah, since I already have that, I can always go back. Oh shit. Sorry, I think let's get this out of the way. Hide. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, back to here. So selecting the rectangle I already created, I'll just right click, go to plugins, and look for tints and shades here by shade. So once I select that, it brings up this, and of course I have an option to generate colors, the button here. Just click on it and it generates the shades of that color, which is my primary color. But just remember, you always have to select the rectangle you're working with. Otherwise, it's going to bring up an error message telling you to select a shape or something like that. But yeah. So once you select it, you've seen here I already have different shades of the color I'm working with. And I'm going to do the same for a secondary and my grays. Yeah, so I'm just going to select this, duplicate it, and move it over here. And I'm going to do the same thing, change the color. Let me see, maybe I'm just going to go for, yeah, something like yellow. This is pretty bright-ish. Oh, I love this green. Okay, I'm sorry, of course. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the shade of yellow, yeah, for my secondary color. And I'm going to do the same thing, run the plugin, that's tints and shades. Run it and generate colors, and for grays as well. So for the grays, I know for some people it's a bit tempting to go straight into black. That's 0000. But because of accessibility, I mean, when you have black over a white background, like pure black over a pure white background, it's just it's not too contrasting, but something like that. But I mean, it's not comfortable to the eyes when you have to read over a certain period. Like you find out that your eyes get tired easily. And that's what this bright mode is doing to my eyes right now as well. Sorry, I think I need to reduce this better. So yeah, when you are selecting your grades, right? So don't jump into 000. No, that is um that is not advised. So I'm going to go for something. I always like to keep it near a shade of blue and purple, just my personal preference. So I think I could work with this for my grades, and I'm going to run in tints and shades again. So since I already searched for it before, this is going to be the first suggestion Figma is going to give me. And I just run it and I create my colors. Now, since we are talking about style guides, right? The thing is that I need to define each color and like this is what this color is for, and this is what that color is for. This is when to use it, and this is when not to use this color. So I have to, I mean, make it available to everybody, accessible to everybody. So for Figma, whenever you create a style, when there is nothing selected on your Figma board, you always find whatever style you have created here in the right panel. So just watch and you're going to see how it works. For I want to rename all these shapes first because if you see here, everything has the same name, like rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. And if I start working with these boxes with the names as rectangle, it's going to be confusing for people who are going to use it. And I think if I should run it on the styler, I think it's going to give me an error message or something. So for the sake of that, I'm going to have to rename these things. So I'm renaming them. I mean, you can rename them any way you feel comfortable, or at least just make sure that it's distinguishable, right? Whatever you're doing, just make sure you understand what you're doing and somebody else who would be joining you on your file can also understand it. So if I should select all the shades I've created, now mind you, this color that is my this color, that's the original color, is already somewhere here. This should be the matching color here. So I don't need to select it to rename. I'm just going to like have it by the side, maybe for documentation purposes later on or something like that. But just now I don't need it anymore now per se. So I'm just going to select all of this and I want to rename everything that's for each shade. I want to rename it in batches. So if I should rename it right now, like selecting everything to rename is just Control R to change their names. Now, if I should rename it this way, it's going to disorganize the naming pattern, right? I'm going to have like some shapes, like because the way I name these shapes, I use numbers like from from the lowest value to the highest value. So if I should just select and rename, it's going to get disorganized. Like it won't follow the layers because if you see this is like this rectangle and this one is here and this is here. So I'm just going to select everything and auto layout everything. So that's Shift A. But for some reason, whenever I auto layout, of course, I always have this shade repeat itself. So I'm just going to remove one since I don't need it. And I'll do the same thing here, Shift A, and just remove one unnecessary shade. Okay, sorry if I'm too fast. Sorry about that. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, Shift A again, and I have everything in auto layout. So auto layout already helps me to organize everything. Yeah, so I have everything following the other. Exactly with this new Figma auto layout update. Like the way it appears on the canvas is the way it's arranged on the panel. So I don't even have to worry that that the order is going to be reversed. So I can easily select this, and now I'm going to hit enter. Enter is just to select the components individually. That's the elements I have very individually. Because of course, if I should just select it as a frame, it's going to recognize it as just one body. So it's not going to like pick out that there are other elements inside. So I just have to hit enter, yeah, and everything is selected. So I'm just going to hit Control R. So since that is my gray, I'm going to name it gray. And this is how Figma works. Sorry, I don't know why it's this way, but just watch and see how it happens. So gray is the name I want to give like all of it. And I'm going to distinguish between each shade by using numbers, just as I mentioned earlier. So to do that, I'm going to use /, impute the $sign, then N00. So N is just a placeholder, right? So a placeholder, I mean, if it's 1, yeah. So N is just 1, and the increment is like 1, 1, 1. So I have from N, that N stands for 1. So from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 and whatever. But I prefer to use hundreds. I don't know why. So I'm just going to save it like that. And I'll do the same thing for this. Hit enter, rename. I'm going to call this yellow, not secondary, but of course it's my secondary color. But let me just use yellow. So yellow, I'm going to rename the same thing, $symbol N00. And I have that. And the same thing for the blue shades. For the blue shades, I'm probably going to call it blue, or maybe I should call it primary, whichever. So maybe let me just go with primary. And I have that $symbol N00. And yeah, that is it. So right now you can see everything has been renamed, and everything is going from minimum value to maximum value. So I've not created the styles yet. I mean, this is just me renaming, so I can have it tidied up and I can easily create the guide. And sorry, yeah, the color styles. So first off, you've seen with the tints and shade plugins, I've been able to generate this. Now, if I had done this manually, God knows we're going to sleep here probably. So since everything is already organized, I can easily go in and select everything and hit enter. So this is where the second plugin we're going to be using comes in, and that is Styler. So Styler just helps you create styles in Figma instead of you doing it manually. Now let me show you. If you select your rectangle now, like this box we have now, I'm not going to touch this one yet, and I want to create a style in Figma. I'm going to go here where I have the fill properties, and here you see these 4 dots here, it says style. So if you hit that box, I mean, it's going to show you like your published library as well, but I'm not using any of that. So I can hit the plus symbol which says create style, and I'll give it a name I want. Let me say black, and I'll create the style. Just as I showed you guys, whatever style you create appears here. So I can't imagine myself doing it for all these shades and coming over here and doing for all these shades and the same thing here. That is going to be tiresome. So I'm just going to Control Z and undo the style I created. So I'm going to go over to Figma community again. I mean, you have to make Figma community your body if you want to design fast, because there are lots of plugins that would help you there. So of course, the same way, go to your Figma community, browse plugins in community and search for Styler. So if you search for Styler, yeah, that's the first thing that comes up. So you can see the icon here, and you see the name. The name is just Styler, so just install it. It has 37.2K installs already. Yeah, so once you have that, you can always come back to your file and select what you want to create, the styles you want to create, hit enter. I mean, don't ever forget to hit enter so that you select all the elements you want to create styles with. So once I have all of that created, I can always use control and forward slash to look for my plugin that I've already installed. So the name is Styler, right? And yeah, when you're searching through the command, so when you're searching through the search bar here, I mean, you're going to see different functionalities of the plugin. So if this is going to confuse you, just use the normal Figma way. Sorry, just use the normal right click and go to plugin and select your styler and select generate styles here. But I mean, if you already know what to do, just select this control forward slash and search for styler, and then what I want to do. What I want to do is generate styles. So here I look for generate styles and I select that. So once you do that, it's going to show you here exactly created 33, updated 0, renamed 0, no changes, cancel. So it means I have created 33 different color styles already, just in less than a minute, I guess. So, and once I look here, I can see all of it already. Yeah, it's already named color styles, and I can see all my grays. I can see my shades of yellow, and I can see shades of my primary color. Now, I know some people are wondering, like, when do I use this color for this project, and when do I use this color for this project? But you can learn all of that in theories of color, like to know the psychology of color, when to use a color and when not to use a color. I don't think I'll be covering that. I mean, you can always search for resources on Google and your answers are there. So yeah, I'm just going to move in the stuff I've created. I'm just going to auto layout again. Auto layout is like the best feature ever in Figma. So auto layout, I'm going to change direction to horizontal and select this one again since it's also auto layout and change to horizontal. So yeah, saves everything for me. And I have it here already. I'll just bring it in here and do the same thing for my secondary color. Change direction and just select this and change direction. Yeah, move into the frame. Okay, yeah, move into the frame. So this don't affect my auto layout. Okay, yeah, and do the same thing for the blue. Shift A, change direction, select this, change direction, and here we have it. Sorry, just going to move this in. Yeah, and just that way, you have already generated styles for your color. And you can do this for your arrow states, just as I mentioned. Arrow and success states, that's red, green, and any other color you might be working with, because at the end of the day, you're going to have like you're going to have gradients and stuff like that. So the thing is, the style guides we're working on now, I'll just call it like a snippet, yeah, a snippet of a design system. I mean, if we were to work on a design system, we'll never complete it. I mean, a design system is always evolving as long as the product is growing, as long as there are updates, you always have to update your design system. So yeah, we're covering just the little bits of it. So now moving over to typography, let me quickly change my canvas color, my frame color rather. I'm going to change this to a darker shade. Oh yeah, I can even use my generated styles now. So you see, I can just easily select one and oh shit, sorry. So I'm going to change the colors from selection colors. Sorry, if I change it from the fill color, since this is an auto layout, it's going to give the auto layout a fill and not change the color of the text. That's what happened back there right now. So I'm just going to change selection colors and select this shade from here. Yeah, and everybody's happy. So now I'm going to be introducing a typography. So what is typography? I mean, typography is just like the style or the appearance of your text. I mean, I know some people here are transitioning from graphics design, so you've probably worked with different typefaces. So yeah, that's just what typography is all about. And if you want to get to know the tiny details of it. I'll just tell you to go to Google and search, because there are definitely some terms associated with typography that you're going to be coming across later on sometime. So to select this, okay, even before I go into this, if we should visit any website, just like the last task you were given to redesign the website of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. If you look at, that's a very bad example of a website, so I shouldn't even be using that. But you can search for any of your favorite websites online, and you're going to see the way typography is used to make a whole lot of difference on the website. I think I could even use Figma Home. Where is my home? Yeah, I could use Figma Home as an example, but they have different sizes. Okay, not too distinct, but yeah, you can. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. Sorry about that. So checking your Figma home. Now you can see here where I have my name and my email address. My name is a different size and a different weight, and my email is a different size and a different weight. It helps you give a sense of hierarchy to your design. Now imagine if everything on this page you're looking at right now was the same size, the same color, the same weight, and everything. You wouldn't even know what to focus on first. So that is the importance of typography. By the time you change the weight of your, let me go back to this file. By the time you change the weight and the height of one particular typeface, right? You start seeing the difference, because right here where I have this now, where I have the body text I want to use, you see everything is the same size. And the first thing you focus on is the body, which is the heading, because I've made it a different size. So it stands out from the rest of the text in this frame. So typography basically helps you see, like, this is what I should be focusing on. Yeah, this is first. This has a higher priority, and this has a lower priority. So when users visit your website, when people are going through your designs, they know where to start. They know, okay, I'm expected to start here, and my eyes move naturally to the next size of paragraph. I see the next size and the last size, like the tiniest size. So that is the importance. Now for the body, right, we need to say, okay, this is the size we want to use for paragraphs. This is the size we want to use for captions. And maybe at some point, we're going to need a larger body text. I don't know, but yeah, you could need it. So it's always better to have like one in between and two, like one bigger and one smaller, because you're going to see a lot of that. So just using Figma as an example, you could see they have like the base size they use. And for things like the name of the file you're working on, it's like bigger. So you're going to be seeing that in other websites. Okay, just as I have here, I have spacers as the big heading, and I have this tiny heading here, that you can't even see naturally, like if you zoom out. So the first thing you see is spacers, because I want you to see the topic that we're going into. So yeah, for the body text or the paragraph, that's my base size. I always use 16, because I feel like 16 is like the most comfortable size for people to read on their mobile and websites, because most websites paragraphs are like 16, and most mobile designs have 16 as their base text. So to get to the size of the next body text, I just called it body text large and body text small. And just as I mentioned before, you can always name things however you please. Just make sure whoever you're inviting to your file is going to understand what you are naming. That's the important thing. So here, since I'm working with 16 as my base size, I am going to be using a scale. Now, a scale is just a multiplier, right? I mean, most of you play games here, so you know how multipliers work. So this the value you have, you just multiply it and you get the next value and another value. So your multiplier, you could decide to use 1.2, you could decide to use 2, you could decide to use 3, but work with what you're comfortable with and work with standards, because of course you don't want people to get used to seeing this pattern and they come over to your product and it's a whole new world. So yeah, since I'm going to be working here, I'm probably going to use 1.2 as my multiplier. So if I'm using 1.2, the smaller text is going to be 16 divided by 1.2, and that's going to give me 13.3, 3 reoccurring. And this one is going to be 16 times 1.2, which is going to be 19.2, I'll be 0.4, whichever one, but something like that, sha. So I know some people don't like decimals when they're working, but decimals are a problem when you want to see the spacing between this body of text and this one. So right now, I'm going to tell you to maybe round it off to the next whole number. So maybe you could decide to go for 14 here, or you could decide to go for 13. Whichever you choose is up to you. Or what you have to focus on is your line height. So for most designs, we can adopt an 8-point grid system or a 4-point. So the basic thing about it is that whatever elements you're using has to not necessarily has to be divisible by 8, but your spacing is going to be multiples of 8. So you don't want to have odd numbers, because odd numbers are kind of difficult to work with, when you're multiplying or when you're looking for I don't know, but yeah, it's always easier to work with even numbers. So you can go in here and change the spacing, the line height here to maybe 24. I think 24 doesn't look too bad, but you can always increase it. But the point is just make sure you don't have decimals here, because here you can see your line height now. The height of these elements are selected now. Oh, poor audio still. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, working with the line height. Yeah, so I've selected 24 for this. Some people use percentages for their line height, you see some 140% and stuff like that. I mean, it still works, but if you really want to be strict with the whole 8-point grid fever, I think you should just stick with the number you can control, 24, and you have it there. And your line height is 72, which is a multiple of 8. And for this one, you can always say, okay, here they have it as 22, so maybe I can just increase this to 24. I think it's pretty comfortable already to look at. And here I have 18, so I can change it to 20. I mean, I'm using 20 because it's a multiple of 4, and if I can work with 4, I can work with 8. It just works that way. So now you can already see the difference here. So I know that if I should come to this page, I'm going to read this first, then read this next, and read this, because right now I've already established hierarchy just by changing the text size. I've not even touched the weight yet, and we can already see a whole lot of difference from what we had initially. Now I'm going to be changing these ones here. So this is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6. So the biggest is probably going to be used for your displays. I mean, when you check some landing pages, you're going to see like really big fonts. I mean, almost as if it's about to break out of the screen you're looking at. So if you're doing something like that, maybe you're going to like probably bump up your scaling. That's your scaling ratio. So you could make it like multiples of 4. I mean, you can go that crazy. Okay, no, maybe 4 is too much. So maybe 1.6 or something like that. But for me, I'm going to stick with 1.2, right? So since I already selected, I mean, this last one was 19.2, right? So I'm going to just do 19.2. Sorry, now I'm going to have to consult my calculator. So 19.2 times 1.2, and I'm going to have 23.4. But usually I'm not a big fan of 23. So I'm probably going to make this 24. I mean, 24 is pretty close. And here I'm going to use times 1.2. I'm going to use 28 because I mean the value is 27.7 something. So I'm going to use 28 here. And for the next one, I'm going to use let me just stick with 32. And the next one, I could use 40. And the next one, I could use 48. And this is already breaking out of my book. Not yet. Interesting. Okay, I already extended it. And for the last one, I could use 56. Maybe I could even use something as big as 64. But yeah, I mean, it's already established here that this is the biggest heading, and you see this next, and you see this next, and you see this next, and you see this next. So it just gives your website, your design, whatever you're working on, it just makes it neater. Yeah, I mean, when you see that everything has its place, when you see that, okay, this is where I'm meant to start, it gives your brain a lower load to process. Because if everything was the same size, I mean, your brain will still be trying to figure out what do I even look at first. So yeah, this is already sorted with just typography. And mind you, like everything here has the same weight. So you could even go in and decide to change the weight of each one. I mean, this is bold, so you could change it semi-bold. I think that works. And you can change the rest like however you please. So just as I worked with the colors, I can also do the same. I can also do the same for the typography, right? I can create my styles immediately. So here, if I select this particular paragraph, if I come here, like the name is body text, more like the name is like whatever I've typed here. That's what the name is. So I can also rename it, right? Yeah, I just hit Control R, so it's just going to show up here since it's just like one element I've selected. No need to like bring out a naming order for me. So I'm just going to call this my caption. I'm just going to call this caption. Select this renaming. I'm going to call this body. Let me just call it body. And for this one, I'm going to call it body large. So body large. Then for the heading, I can always like say, okay, I can call this H1, H2, H3, H4, 5, and 6. I mean, that works. So I'm just going to rename. Now I can use the Control R and I have this. So I have H, H forward slash $ N. I can decide to add 0, but I think I'll just stick with H1, 2, 3 to 6. So I'm just going to rename, and yeah, everything has changed. And of course, I can always call on the plugin to help me create another style, but this time it's going to be textiles. So I'm just textiles. Yeah, so I'm just going to link up the plugin I need, and just here, styler, generate styles. And you're going to see it's updated now. So 6 have been created, 6 more styles have been created, updated, 0, renamed 0, no changes. And I'm going to do the same thing for the body. Select everything, call the plugin, generate styles, and yeah, created 3, updated 0, renamed, no changes. So here I'm going to see by my side, by my right panel, that I already have extra styles created. So I have caption, body, large, and this is just H because I named the H, right? So it's just 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from smallest to the biggest size. But of course, use a naming convention you are comfortable with. I mean, it's totally up to you. So since we're done with typography, okay, I think I'm going to skip grids and spacers for now and move over to icons. Now, icons. I think nobody can deny the importance of icons in design. I mean, icons help to keep your interface clean. It helps your users to process whatever you're trying to show them faster. So just for a bit of context, now imagine on this Figma dashboard now, where the workspace I'm looking at now, that all these things were text and not icons. I mean, it's going to be crazy, right? Because imagine we have, instead of this comment icon, we have add comment, and here we have hand to, here we have text, and here we have drawing tools. So I'm still going to have a drop down, see pen, pencil, instead of the icons, and here we're still going to go down. I mean, the icons are here just to like tell you what this is actually, but icons are still important because I mean there would have been no better way to represent this if not with icons. Now, the thing about working with icons is that if you're working with a particular icon pack, please stick with that icon pack. Don't mix up icons. Like, don't go to USACs, collect one. Go to Untitled, collect one. And go to material design, collect one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be like it's going to be like a joke, right? Because you're going to have like different stuff that are unrelated when all you're just trying to do is create a good UI. So when you're using your icons as well, you have to make sure that your icons have like the same stroke width. So let me just bring in one icon pack, which you're going to be using now. I'm going to search for ViewSACs, although I already have it, but let me go to the Figma community and search for ViewSACs, right? So community, browse community. So here, I'm just going to search for VueSACs, ViewSACs, and waiting for that to come up. Okay, so here, I mean, you're going to see lots of icons. Of course, people have duplicated over and over again, but you can just select anyone you want. So I'm going to select this one, this particular one, and I will duplicate it to my draft. So now I'm going to have it saved in my draft. Just click on duplicate, yeah, and you have it here already. So let's just wait for it to load. Okay, so yeah, working with ViewSACs. Now they've already done us a whole lot of good by organizing them like into the different aspects they belong to. So we have icons for money, have icons for videos, emails, design tools, and so many of them. So here, if you can see my panel here, the left panel, right? You can see linear, I mean, there is linear style of the icon, there is the bold style, there's the outline, two-tone, bulk. So for the bold style is like a filled version of the, the bold style is like a filled version of the icon that you have. So here you have the outline version. The outline version is pretty much like the linear version of their icon. So here they have two-tone. Two-tone means like two different shades. You'll be seeing two different shades if you can see this clearly. Yeah, right. So you have but this is like two-tone in an outline style, and you have the bulk, which is two tones in the field style. So yeah, whichever one you decide to work with, please stick with that. I don't want to see two tones, and at some point I'm seeing outline. At some point I'm seeing what else again. Yeah, bold. I mean, that would make me feel that it's not one person that worked on this. I mean, it's like a circus, right? So if you're going to be using the two tone, please stick with it. If you're going to be using the bold style, yeah, please stick with it. Although, as we're designing, you will find out that the bold and the outline styles are going to be combined most times. Because if you want to show an active state of an icon and you're using like um, an outline icon, the wisest thing to do is to fill it, right? That shows it's selected, but the others are going to be different. The others are still going to be in their outline form. So I'm just going to, let me just select one of it, select the money pack. I'll just copy it into this. So I'm just going to copy it into this. Let me just change the color here, brighter, and go in. Yeah, so let's bring it in here. Select the frame I want to place it in. Yeah, Control V and remove this field. Thank you. Yeah, so I have this already, money icons, and I'll just go back to it. Go to the linear, whatever. Yeah, go to linear style. Copy that as well, and I'm going to be bringing it in here. And just Control V anywhere and extend this frame. Center this. Yeah, so we have the icons now. So while you're working with icons, right? If the icons you're working with are probably icons people aren't used to, you have to help them by attaching like tiny tags to it, just the way Figma has it here. I mean, despite the icons being here, they added like what it means, rectangle line, because some people could see this line and think it's a slash. So that's why it has to be there. So they will know that, okay, this is a line too. And of course, you have the ellipse, polygon, star, place, image, and stuff like that. And while working with icons, please don't use the wrong icon for the wrong category. Now, I'll have a shopping cart and you tell me it's my profile. It does not work that way. Of course, if you are going to be giving me a profile, for goodness sake, use something that represents a human being, not just any icon that comes to your head. Or maybe you are talking about settings and I'm seeing a messaging icon. I mean, that doesn't work. Where's their users icon again? Sorry. Okay, now this is getting confusing. Just a moment, and maybe I should just search for this since my eyes are weak already. Users. Okay. Oh, just give me one. I don't know what's happening here, but this is not meant to be here natural. Okay, sorry, I just brought it up. For goodness sake. So this is like your user icon, right? So make sure you're using the right icon for the right category you want to represent. So of course we have icons for delivery, for cryptocurrency. I mean, those of you working, see the user icon back here. So for those of you working on Web3 products, you're going to know that some people are not familiar with some of the functionalities there. So yeah, you can always include some tags to it so that people understand what it is you are trying to tell them. So now we're going to be talking about grids and spacers. So all these grids and spacers are just tools which help you with alignment and of course defining a structure for the interface you're working on. Now I'm going to undo whatever I've done here, Control Shift G. So you can see, I don't even need this, oh shit. So Control Shift G again. Okay, so now I have the mobile frame and the desktop frame. I think this is still on that frame. Oh yeah. So Control Shift G again to remove it. Yeah, and Control Shift G to remove. I just Control Shift G. Okay. Now why is this not working? Oh, sorry. I started desktop itself. Yeah. So Control Shift G. So here you have a desktop frame and your mobile frame. Now, definitely a lot of elements are going to be coming into here. I mean, you're going to have a navigation bar. In that navigation bar, you're going to have your, of course, your navigation. You're going to have your button. And here, maybe on your hero section, you're going to have like the text. You're going to have the call to action and maybe one illustration or image here by the side. So all those things, they're meant to have their positions, right? And this is where grids come in. I mean, we use grids, we use rulers, we use spacers, but spacers are pretty much like grids, just that they are a more visual version of grids. And I think it really helps developers in case when you're handing off your designs to developers. I mean, when they see the spacers you use, it's easier for them to know, okay, this is the spacing between this element and this element. So there is no guesswork, although they can always, I mean, pick it off when they are inspecting. But yeah, so introducing grids, we have here on this side, you have on your right panel where you have layout grid. So when you click on the icon here, like for this, just click on grids rather, and it's going to set up a layout grid for you. Now, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to use this because, I mean, this is almost uncontrollable and you can't customize it the way you want. So you're going to go here, select columns. So columns are going to help you define your horizontal spacing, while rows are going to help you define your vertical spacing. And you can have more than one grid on a frame. So you can easily align elements vertically or horizontally. So here I'm going to just start with the columns, right? So the columns here, I mean, you want your elements to always snap to the grid. Now, if yours is not snapping, just go over to preferences, and here you're going to see snap to geometry, to objects, and to pixel grid. Just enable this and you're good to go. So of course, for your pixels, I mean, if you zoom into Figma pretty much, you're going to see all these tiny boxes. Yeah, each box represents one pixel. Yeah, that's what a pixel means. So yeah, moving on. I want to define a grid system for the mobile app I'm going to be building. Now, with the column starting from the far end of the right and the left of the frame, it means that my object, like whatever I draw in this frame, is going to snap to it from that end. Let me just show you. Now I want to draw a frame, a rectangle. Now I didn't even draw directly on it, but I mean, Figma's AI just directly pushed my rectangle to that far end. But I want my mobile app or the mobile version of the website I'll be working on to have some breathing room. I don't want my element to start from like the end of the frame. So I'm just going to change the values I have for the layout grid. I always change the count to 8 when I'm working on the mobile devices. And the gutter, I leave the gutter at 20. So the gutter is the distance between each column. So from this column to this column, this white space is 20 pixels. That's the value. And the margin, I think this has been mentioned before, but let me just mention it again. The margin is like the distance from the end of the grid to the end of your frame. So every element you are drawing in this frame is going to be starting from the margin you have set. So I'll just set my margin from mobile devices to 24. So this way I know, okay, this is like my guide already. So everything that will be in this frame is always going to start there and end there. Nothing is going to leave it. So this is for like the horizontal spacing, right? And of course, this is like going to help me. Okay, I want to create this. I want to know how this is going to be and stuff like that. So I mean, there is already I think I'm just duplicated something. Okay, so I'm going to be able to define a structure for whatever I'm working on. I mean, I want it to be like this way and stuff like that. I want it to be this way. Yeah. So I mean, Figma already has like a lot of things that are going to help you to match the spacing between your elements. Because if you could notice, it just made the spacing between this and between this to match automatically, which is 22 pixels. So this is where your vertical grid comes in. So that's for the vertical spacing. You're going to be using rows. So here you can just click on the plus icon, and of course it brings out another option for you, and you can change this to rows. So when you change this to rows, just set this to top. Yeah, so top means it's starting from the top. So you're going to increase the count here. I mean, the count is 5 right now. So since I'm working on something that is probably going to stretch all the way, I'm just going to bump up my count to like 1,000, and the height, set the height to 8, since I'm working with 8 points. So here, the gutter, I'm just going to set it to 0. So there is no space between them per se. So right now, if you can see what I have here, I mean, this is already giving me like marks of where the 8 points are. Like each 8 points, you can see like a thicker red line. So what it does is basically your objects are going to snap to those points. So the way I'm moving it right now, it snaps here, it snaps here, it snaps here. Now let me just delete this and draw a rectangle inside here now. So you see, it's just going to be moving like 8. If you're watching the height right here, right? So everything like 112, 120. So it's helping me maintain that 8 point distance, that notch size. So yeah. Although I don't know if this was mentioned before, but I mean, I've been saying notch size, notch amount. So notch amount is just we have the small notch such that when I move this up, like with my arrow button, it just moves like 1 point up or 1 point down. But when I hold shift, it's going to use a bigger amount, which is 8 points, just as I already said, it's already in my preferences. So yeah, this is just you creating a grid system for your mobile device. And for your desktop, I always use 120 margin for desktop because I love to have a lot of breathing space from the edge to where the next element is. So I'm just going to change this to columns and change this to margin to 120. And for the count, I use 12 for desktop. So I mean, those are just values easier to work with. And you can always do the same thing for like the for the vertical grid. So here for spacers now, which is like the last thing we have here. So for the spacers, I mean, the spacers help to give you a visual cue of the spacing you're using. So here, I mean, these are meant to be like components because when you're working, you want to probably switch from 8 point to 16 or to 24. Because here, if I'm moving, you can see like the size here for this one is 4 by 4. This is 8. This is 16. This is 24, and so on. So I already made it a component. Now, what components are like? Components are just elements you can reuse easily, and you can always create different instances for that's different variants for those components. So you can always switch between them. Although I don't know if I already, okay, yeah, already combined them as one element. So let me just, whatever component you create, you find it under the assets panel here. So here you're going to see the local components. That's the components I created within this file and components using this file. I mean, these could have been imported from other libraries and stuff like that. So here, since I already know where it is, this is my component for my spacer. So I'm going to be sticking with this background. So here I have like the tiniest spacer here. And if I want to increase it to like 56, I'll just select that value from here, that's from this property, and I'm going to select the value I want to use. So the way you use it, just when you get your design, I mean, but this is going to help your developer more because if you have your grid system already, your grid system is already doing the same work for you. So you can just make your developer see that, okay, the spacing between, so I'm going to remove this from auto layout. Control Shift G. Let me just work this out now. Here. So here, I want the developer to know that, okay, the default spacing between these elements is like 32 pixels already. So I'm going to select this. Okay, I don't have a 32 pixel. Okay, sorry, yeah, I do have a 32 pixel. So yeah, here, this is a multi layout. So I'm going to have it here. So, yeah. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to fit it in between here. So here you can see already, I mean, you can use different colors to represent different instances of it. I mean, I could say, okay, I want the distance from here to here to be 24, right? And I want the developer to see that it's 24. I'm going to duplicate this instance and I'm going to drag it down here. I'm going to change this to 24. That's the next size. So here you can see 24.6 perfectly between them. And yeah, here, I mean, whoever sees whatever you have worked with can say, okay, yeah, so this is the spacing here, this is the spacing here, and stuff like that. But if you know how to use your grid system properly, I don't think you still have any need for spacers. So, oh, I think I'm done. Yeah, any question?
Thank you, Bambos. Let me check for the. Okay, I think they don't have a question because nobody's dropping any question.
Awesome. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Okay, someone said, I don't understand the spacers and gradients you explained.
And gradients, is it gradients or grid system? Which one exactly?
I think if the person wants to put grid system, that's, yeah. I think it's spacers and the grid system that you just took.
Okay. So let me just explain again. Now, a grid system is just for alignment. Yeah, you want to know what you're aligning and the structure you're working with, right? I mean, every website has a structure. It's maybe two columns, or I mean, by the time you break down a website to like the simplest form, like just use rectangles to block out every feature on it, you're going to see that there is a structure to it. Maybe some images are to the right and others to the left and stuff like that. So the grid system helps you to place your elements correctly on your frame, which is the same thing a spacer does. A spacer just helps you know what spacing to expect between each element. I mean, it's for developers mostly, like your developers working on the design you have. So they don't need to do any guesswork. I mean, you can easily draw it. Just draw a rectangle, or you can use an auto layout, draw a frame, measure the sides like 8 by 8, 4 by 4, 24 by 24, and you can duplicate instances of that. Sorry, I'm not teaching components right now. So yeah, just duplicate instances of that with those different sizes. And that is going to help you as well to know where to use what spacing. I hope that is clear, but if that's not clear, maybe you can just read up more on it.
Okay, another question. They said the person said, please, what's the difference between typography and
Sorry, I didn't get that. I don't know if my network is bad, but your voice is breaking.
okay, the question is what's the difference between typography and font?
Okay, so a font is just how do I even explain it? Okay, your font is just your font, right? I mean, your font is the style of, I'm still saying the style of, but yeah, a font is just one aspect of typography. Because when you start doing with typography, you're going to start seeing spacing that's tracking the rest of them, like all those details. So your typography is like the particular measurements, or should I say the particular values you're assigning to that font you're using. I mean, your font is just your font, but your typography, by the time you start defining what your line height is, what your line and your text width is, you're talking about typography. But the font is just like, I don't know how to explain, but the font is just the font, yeah. So yeah. Any other question?
Somebody said
My network is
that
pretty shitty. Um,
how can they how can I add icon to a design after copying it from Busak? Did you hear me?
yeah, I
Hello?
did.
Okay.
Okay, so I think I'll just share my screen again. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen now. So I just copied view sacks, right? I copied this and I brought it into like my own file. So yeah, here it's already accessible to me. I can go in, select what I want. This is what I want to use. I'll just drag it out. Let me see, where's that my, let me just copy Control C or Control X. Let me just copy it. Yeah, this is the frame I'm working with. Let me say something like a navigation bar. I mean, it's already mine, so I just Control C and Control V and keep it wherever I want to keep it. Like maybe I'm building a navigation bar or something like that. I hope that is clear. I mean, once you copy it, it's already in your draft. So whenever you need it, you can just go there wherever it is. Or you can also access it here, like your local components. You can see here I have icons, view sacks. Yeah, you select the particular one you want and just drag it here and you paste it on your canvas. Oh, sorry, your frame. Yeah, that's it. And sorry, I think I forgot to add one more thing. Yeah, right. The last plugin, sorry, which is the automatic style guide. Although I don't know, you might decide not to use that. I mean, you can always decide to document your stuff the way you want it to. But since I already have all these styles created, now mind you, you can't I'm not sharing sense. Okay. So mind you, you can't run the automatic style guide if you've not created your text styles. So, but since I already have the text style, sorry, not just text styles, like you have to have a style created already. So I have color styles and text styles already. So I can just go in, look for the name is automatic style guide, right? So I'll just say generate style guide, and it's going to create another page for me here in my file. So you see here, new page has been created, another pages. So just click here, you're going to see style guide, and it has everything for you documented. So yeah, sorry. Next question.
Okay. Another question is about what's the benefit of a star guide?
Okay, although I mentioned that when I started, so I just told you a style guide helps you to maintain uniformity across whatever you're designing. I mean, you're going to have a couple of persons working with you on a project, and you don't want those people to mess up whatever you're doing. So, style guide documents like the things, the way you are working. I mean, it's more like you setting a standard that, okay, if this is a heading, this is how it's going to be. If this is a primary, sorry, if this is a button, this is the color it's meant to be, and this is the style of the font you're going to use or whatever. So yeah, your style guide helps you achieve consistency and uniformity, and it also speeds up your process when you're designing. So just imagine that here right now, I mean, let's say I want to change the style of the font I've been using. That I want to change the typography, right? So the if I didn't create styles, I would have had to go into each one and change each one, like select this, change it here, select this, change it here. But since it's already a style, I can easily go to my style here, like here that I have the heading. I can change it to like edit style. I can decide, okay, I don't want it to be open sans anymore. I want it to be like another font, maybe Monito, and I can change it. And this changes. So everywhere this appears, the style is going to change all across the file. So I don't have to like fish out each instance of it where it's repeated and change each one separately. So that's the importance of the style guide: uniformity, consistency, and speed.
All right. Another question they are asking is, I think majority of them didn't get when you duplicated when you made a duplicate copy for Vusak. They're asking how to get for Vusak. Probably should just explain how they can get it from Figma community again, because majority of the question is about how to get Vusaks.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take it slow. Go to your home here, your Figma home. Sorry, let me just go to my own profile. Exactly. So when you have your home, you have a search bar here, right? Telling to search files, teams, or people. You could search it directly and it's going to give you like suggestions from the community. But you can easily go to the community here, the Figma community here, and here you see search community bar here, and you see under bar here. So you know what you're looking for is ViewSax. So just search for it. The spelling UESAX ViewSax. Just search for it. You're going to see here. I mean, there are lots of things that will pop up. They're all ViewSax icons, but different copies of it. So you could select any one you want. Here you see a duplicate button. So duplicating it means you are saving it. What just happened? Okay. But duplicating it means you are saving it to your own draft. So it's now yours. It's more like it belongs to you now. You're the person that created it. It's quite all right, but it's now yours and you can easily access it. So just click on duplicate and it's going to, if you see right here, it says draft. So it's already saved to your draft. So whenever you want to look for it, you can easily go to your home, that's to your profile, and sorry, this is taking a while. Yeah, you can easily go to your home, you open up your drafts. I mean, here, drafts, you can see that you have a duplicate of it here already. So you see here, you can access it, get it, copy whichever one you want. Copy, I mean, you could copy all of it and just duplicate it to the, copy it to the file you're working on, and it's there already. Just the same way I did it for this. I think my Figma just crashed, but yeah, just duplicate it to the file you're working on. That's it. I mean, it's quite simple. You can watch the video again if you don't get it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Let me see if there's any other question. Okay, someone is asking that can grids, can they be saved? That is when you create grids, can they be saved? I think this person is asking if it can be saved as a style.
Oh yeah,
Did you get that?
definitely. Like this, yeah, I did. I mean, the same way you work with the styler for sorry, the same way you create your font style and the what's a font style, your typography. Yeah, the same way you create it. Just select whichever stuff you want. Create the grid. I'm always clicking on this. So just create this. Create what you want. Let's say you want columns. Create your count 12 and you want to save it, right? You want to create a style with it. Just here, you see here the icon says style. Just click on that and you add it. Give it a name. My grid. And yeah, it's saved. So here you can already see it as a created style, my grid. That's it.
Okay, another question. I think this will be the final question because majority of the questions have been answered so far. So this one says, when a style guide is changed, does it mean it affects all already created designs with the same templates?
When you say all created designs like on the same file, right? Okay, sorry, that's not your question.
Probably the
I'm
person is
asking somebody
trying to
in the
ask.
audience. Yeah, but okay, if it's on the same file, right? Definitely, if you're changing a style, it's going to affect every other instance of it on that file you're working on. But sometimes you have to publish some styles to your library. So when you make a change on the original file, you have to go to other files which you have used that guide on and update it. I mean, that's a lot of process, but when you start using Figma more, you're going to like get used to most of these things. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, and they don't have any other question. I think we can wrap up the class.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks. All right then. Yeah. Thanks,
All
everybody.
right, guys.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Thank you for joining. Thank you, Bombas. And that's a wrap. Yeah, coordinator, we are done.